much. Thank you so much, Dora's band, right here in Vihiga County. We're still holding fort. This is Friday Briefing, of course. Thank you so much for, of course, staying with us. I can see your tweets coming. Please keep them coming. But stop asking me for numbers of these lovely girls. I really cannot help. Kila mtu ajitetea maji, Willis.
Unajua kusema watu wajitetee.
Watu wajitetee.
Mimi pia hapa, lakini unajua kule nyumbani. Si unajua
kuna nyumbani. Ndio unajua nyumbani iko kabisa.
Lakini now, that tells you what I said.
Right.
That time that we are lovely. You see, you look at the ladies you've been, hosting here.
Yeah.
Betty, I can tell you for free. In fact, even you're having a very tough competition. I would just tell you that.
Evidently, I mean, I'm out. So in this one, I'm definitely. I think I should just stick to the studio,
the face
so that I don't have
Kenya.
to deal with self-esteem issues.
The face of Kenya. I'm telling you, we are wonderful.
And the face of Kenya is actually represented here tonight. This is one really interesting and really great thing, celebrating our diversity, all the 47 counties. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
All right. So Willis, it's also great to have you. Everybody's always asking, why won't you have Willis live so that you can ask him questions hapo.
So now people have moved from the way he laughs to the way he calls Betty. Most people are used to Betty.
Yeah.
And in what we call now the English phonology, we don't have that long, vowel sound air. Be. What we say here, be, is never there.
So you can't say Betty.
No, you can say Betty. You say Betty.
Betty.
It's E, then E. Betty. But when it lands on our ears locally, compared to what we always, listen to, you just say.
Listen to the girls laughing. I'm sure if you ask most of their names, they pronounce their names wrong. Remember, 2 weeks ago, so Willis told me that, my full name Beatrice is not said as Beatrice, but it's Beatrice. Now finally I love my name because I used to have a problem with it.
Did you get time to confirm that it's not Beatrice the way we said it locally?
Yes, I did, and it's true that it's actually Beatrice.
It's Beatrice. But
I think I like that one.
We say, some people even asked me the other time, Willis, are you Willis or you're Willis or Willis? And I told them it's just Willis. We have what we call, variant spellings.
Okay.
We can have the name Brian with B-R-I-A-N.
Yeah.
That we also have Brian with a Y.
Yes.
But you still say Brian. So we have variant spelling, but the same pronunciation. Now, when you talk about pronunciations, Betty, you know what it now happens with me. I may even go overboard.
You can, actually, that's true. And that's why, before you go overboard, I want us to take a look at Word on the Street. Let's take a look at Word on the Street. What did Kenyans have to say this time round?
Porcelain, porcelain, porcelain,
porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain,
porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain,
porcelain, porcelain, porcelain,
porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain, porcelain.
Haya, sawa. Porcelain. Let me tell you, I also do not know how to pronounce that word. Let me just come out in the open. Let me not even laugh. Tell us, Willis, how do we go about that one?
Well, but when it comes to porcelain, most people would say porcelain, 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 and all that. But as I always say, nobody can be perfect. But if you are told the correct way to pronounce a word, it becomes very easy. For instance, you've been, hosting the wonderful, faces right here.
Right.
In fact, and figures, faces and figures, and in fact, brains.
Wow.
You've seen what they are. So now we talk of pageant, not pageant. It is pageant, beauty pageant. But many people would say pageant and all that. But when we have the word in question, that is the word you took to the street.
Right.
We say porcelain. That A is silent. That is when you talk about RP, received pronunciation, and even its approximations. But in most cases, if we have also an acceptable, form, because as I said also the other time, sometimes English pronunciations are like, they're not like 1 + 1 = 2. So sometimes you can have another acceptable form, but the other rare one is porcelain.
Porcelain.
But if you want to deal with the English pronunciations, Betty, for instance, as a broadcaster, as a teacher, a lecturer, a lawyer, and all that, you say porcelain. Porcelain.
Porcelain.
There you are.
Porcelain.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Now, let's go on to the next word. Now, this one is incumbent. Incumbent. This is another word that we hear.
Betty, before you go to that word, now that you've, brought me here live.
Right.
Sometimes you might have heard people talking of designer. Now that we are dealing with the beauties right here.
My designer shoes.
My designer.
Shoes.
And don't just talk about shoes. You'll hear something like my sharp suitors. Have you heard of that? Sharp suitor instead of sharp shooter.
It took time before
That
I
is
understood.
when we are talking about the first language or mother tongue influence.
Right.
It happens. So when we talk of designer, we have what we call the voiced sound Z, like a Z.
Yeah.
So you say designer, not designer.
Not designer.
And somebody would also say, you tell somebody, can you say lullaby? Somebody
Lullaby.
tells you rarapai. Rarapai. You've heard of all that. So
Rarapai.
it happens.
It happens.
But as I always say, nobody wishes to have that problem of what we call first language or mother tongue influence. But sometimes it can be very, juicy when it comes to, language.
It's interesting
like
you say that mother tongue influence, because where I come from, you hear my house on the hill. We do not have the H, man. We don't just have it.
Happens. And some parts of Cumberland, you may hear something. When somebody says, I want you to say roaring lion, you may hear something like a lolling
My lolling lion.
My lolling lion. So it
I'm
happens. So these are things we have to talk about. What were you asking me about?
So I was asking you about this one, incumbent. How do we say this one?
Well, many people find themselves saying incumbent. Incumbent, it's not there. In English, sometimes you must have attended, some functions whereby there is a white person.
Yes.
I'm saying white to mean Mzungu, with a lot of respect.
Right.
Now, somebody comes there and Mzungu is preaching, then you say somebody who has gone to school properly should come here to, translate for us.
Right.
Then sometimes you may find the very Mzungu who is talking there may not even be using English at home as a first language. They may be having a problem. So sometimes even Mzungu, who is not knowing what we call now the standard pronunciations, you may try to translate, and sometimes you also find yourself, kwa Kiswahili, wengi upenda kusema kwa lugha jeuri, wanasema unapoteza network. But it's because the person is mispronouncing some words.
All right.
It's Mzungu, but mispronouncing some words.
Okay.
So when we
That's
come
why we
to
have
this
the word master.
That is it.
Yes.
So the point here is you say incumbent.
Incumbent.
An incumbent.
Okay.
That person who is there.
Right.
Incumbent. And then you talk of incumbency.
Okay.
So what we should avoid is incumbent, incumbency. That one in English, no.
All right, got it, Willis. Now moving on to another word. I'll spell this one out. M-A-N-U-R-E. Manure.
You say manure.
Okay.
Manure.
Yeah.
But I want to share with you something.
Right.
You say mature or mature. Those are acceptable.
Really?
You can say mature. That is acceptable in English.
He's a mature man.
Mature and mature. Both are allowed. Those are alternative pronunciations. You remember, like I told you, finance and finance. Those are acceptable pronunciations of that word.
Okay.
When you come to the word mature, it's not strictly mature.
Right.
You can use mature
or mature
as an RP, that is received pronunciation.
Yes.
You can also say mature. It's also allowed.
I think I'll be using mature because I want to sound like I'm well traveled.
But I want to tell you something. That is where you bring a point again. When you are speaking, the essence or importance of any language in this world, including your mother tongue, is communication. So don't try to sound like, you are like, sometimes there are people who are fond of bombast. You get that? instead of saying same things which are just, the simple way,
Yeah.
somebody talks about words, some of which are not even relevant in the context in which they're delivering a speech.
Right.
So
I'm
sometimes when it
flabbergasted
comes to,
flabbergasted
you talk
by
about
your-
things which are not even there.
Right, okay,
So
okay.
basically, keep it simple so that you communicate.
Communicates. All right,
That's it.
fine. All right, let's move on to another word. Rebel, rebel. Very quickly, how do we
We
say that
say,
one?
when you're dealing with a verb, Betty, you say to rebel. To rebel.
To rebel.
Against authority. Rebel. But the person or the adjective,
Right.
you say rebel.
Rebel.
So and so
Rebel
is
or
a
rebel?
You can say bull, you
Rebel.
can say bull. Both are acceptable.
Okay, fine.
Just like people,
People.
and people.
Or people.
Both
Oh, so you can
use
say
them. You can say
people
people
and people.
Or people. Remember, you can also say people.
People.
Those are allowed. Those
Okay.
ones are allowed.
All right.
So there you say rebel as
Okay.
a verb,
Right.
but rebel as a person.
As a
so and so
person.
is a rebel or a rebel.
And you say person.
Person or person. You
Or you can
that.
say both.
Yeah, just like I told you, you can say student and you can also say student.
Student.
Can you manage
Can you
that?
guys say it? Student. Student. Okay, fine.
Okay, can they say important?
Can you say important?
Then you can but remember, you
I
say
could go on
important,
and on and
you can
on.
also say important. Don't tell somebody,
Okay.
no, it is not important. It is important.
It's
There you will not
important.
be understanding what you're talking
All right,
about.
okay.
We have what we call acceptable pronunciations apart from what you may say. Okay, when you talk about the British English,
Right.
you'll say important.
Important.
You'll even say a word like prudent.
Prudent.
But prudent, acceptable.
Okay. I think I'll stick to the prudent and
There you are.
student.
But not because you want to sound
Not
unique.
because I
No,
want to
don't do
sound
that.
good. Okay, fine.
Don't do that.
All right, fine. Let's now go to our feedback question. So, Rose Simi of Nairobi asking about this word, blessed, blessed. How do we say that one? Which one is correct or both are correct?
We have the verb bless. When I talk about a verb, I'm talking about words that, express actions. That is doing words.
Doing words.
A verb. So when we say to bless so and so, when you now go to the past tense of that verb bless,
Yeah.
you now say blessed.
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 And also the past participle of the verb bless, you say blessed.
Blessed.
But when you're using an adjective,
To
you don't
describe
say
something.
now that you are blessed. If you want to say somebody is having, you are holy, you are lucky, you say have a blessed day.
Day.
Blessed day. Don't say have a blessed,
Blessed day. No.
That is now the
Blessed.
past tense and
Blessed.
past participle of the verb bless.
All right.
But if it is an adjective, this, like now the Virgin Mary, you say blessed or blessed. You get that?
Blessed.
Blessed or blessed.
Blessed or blessed?
Yes.
This class. Well, okay, sour.
Yes.
Got it. Moving on to our surprise words. I can see you have the banners. Let's talk about our
Well, I
surprise
have
words,
them.
Willis.
Well, this one I'll now show our dear viewers.
Can I hold it? You always hold
you
it.
can, you
Let me
can do
just
that.
hold it for you.
You can hold it for me.
There you go.
Yeah. So, Betty, when we see this word, which you are now displaying,
Can I say what I think when I see it?
tell me what you think.
Hi, sawa. Hii ni monk. Monk. Okay, guys, what's this word? Right? Monk.
Okay. Okay. Now, tell me, W-O-N. How do you pronounce that?
W-O-N.
Yes.
Won. Like tomorrow, she won the Miss Tourism. Won.
Now you can realize it's W-O-N. It is now, they are saying
Won.
one, some are saying
Won.
The past tense of the verb win is not won. Don't say they won the match. Say they won the match.
Won.
Get that? Won the match. Just like O-N-E. They won the
Won.
match. We
They
don't
won
say
the
they won
match.
the match. If you're talking of won, it's like onyo. W-A-R-N, to warn somebody.
somebody.
And also when something, is worn out.
Okay.
W-O-R-N. Won. But W-O-N and O-N-E, they are pronounced the same way. Different
One.
spellings, but
Okay.
the same pronunciation. Technically,
Okay.
we call them homophones. You
Homophones.
get that?
So one.
In that case, we are now back to this word.
Yes.
You said
Monk.
Don't say that. The word is monk. Don't say monk. The word is
Okay.
a monk. So,
Monk.
letter O takes what we call the mid-central vowel sound, monk. Just like my son. My son. We don't say my son.
Okay.
So while we laugh at Nigerians, when they say my brother,
my mother,
we also hear say one. Monk.
Yeah.
They also laugh at us.
Yes.
Because, you know, some of them are also in the know.
Right. Okay.
Now, you come to confusing words.
Confusing words.
Now, we have the upper word has a C.
Yes.
R-E-C-E-N-T. That is an adjective.
Yes.
You say recent or recent. Recent. Can you say recent?
Recent.
Then recent.
Recent.
So you can say that. You'll realize we're using a sound that is like an S. You realize that?
Yes, yes.
So you say recent or recent.
Recent.
But guys, the lower word.
Recent.
Can you say recent? Can you say recent? Now, you go to the verb, which is the lower one.
Yeah.
We have letter S.
Yes.
Don't say resent. Say resent. Now use the voice. And told me she is excited that KTN Vihiga. She's over 70 years. The name she gave me is Mama Edina Nabongo.
Wow, okay.
Edina Nabongo, and she said, in fact, she is also welcome home.
Wow, lovely.
And they get the whole story.
I like that. Right, this is of course where you get the whole story. KTN News live from Vihiga. Thank you so much, Willis, the word master.
You're welcome.
You can tweet him at Willis Ochieng 1. All right, fine. So it's now time to take a look at sports news right before we end things here on Friday Briefing.